At the end of the last tutorial, we were talking about running a fillet along this edge. We've got two tools that can do that. The surface fillet for larger blends and the round tool for detailing edges. So I'll start with the round tool on this wheel arch. Because round needs the edges to be accurately touching, because it's the edges that we select. And a radius value of 10 appears, so I can pick the other edges and then say build. And what this does is it trims away the two main surfaces and then puts in the round surface. And if you get something like this, it's not a problem with the surface, it's just tessellation. So switch to accurate, and if you need to, tighten up the tolerance as well. So the round's got construction history, so Query Edit will make it live again. And so just click on this radius arc and you can type in a different value. So I'll do 5 because round is designed for small detail fillets like this. But up here on the main body side, and I'll just turn off the wheel arches for now, I could use round along this edge because the two sides are touching. But here I've got a gap, so round doesn't let me select it. So instead I could use the surface fillet tool. And for this I don't choose the edges, I choose the whole surface, or in this case a tangent strip of surfaces. And then I ask to fillet against this one. And these arrows tell me that the fillet will get built on the inside. So if I say build, then it does the same as the round. It trims away the main surfaces and then creates the new fillet surfaces. And because the fillet size was big enough to jump across the small gap, then it works fine and we get a nice result. So I'll do a Query Edit, and you can see that just like the Curve Fillet tool, I can set the size of the fillet here, and we've got the ability to choose the continuity. And then, like the Skin tool, we've got flow controls to manage the end conditions. So I'll just put that back to default for now. But the Surface Fillet tool was designed primarily for creating larger blends that are part of the main design. So if I bring the centerline surfaces back on, we want a nice soft blend at the front of the hood. So I've got Surface Fillet active, so I can just drag across these two surfaces. And because there's a tangent break here, it treats them as the two sides of the fillet. So if I say build, the surface gets created. So I'll need that to be much bigger, so maybe 300. And then I can sort out the flow control. So I can extend, or try edge align, which in this case gives us the best result because we wanted these edges lined up. So if I put the curvature plot onto the edges, then it shows the classic shape for a tangent blend. And so if I Query Edit back into our control window, then I can change the fillet to being a G2 curvature one. And so I get a softer lead-in. And if I turn the CVs on, then you can see I've got the same flexibility with the form factor to make the fillet shape sharper or flatter. Now if I want to undo that, the best way to do it is to use Query Edit and then choose Undo All in the control window. But if you don't do that and you just pick and delete it, then you'll need to untrim the surfaces back again. And also get rid of the old curves on surface to get everything back to the starting point. And I've done that because I want to copy these surfaces across the axis. And on this one, change the angle relationship between the two surfaces, because that will affect the shape of a standard rolling ball fillet. And we can see that tangent relationship by using the Surface Continuity tool and setting it to tangent. And then if I click on the edge and then click again with the middle mouse button, it shows me the tangent variation. And if I do the same on this one, you can see that it's varying quite a lot, particularly near this end. And I can use the right mouse button to get the values. So I've got 32 degrees here, going down to around 8 degrees here. So when I do the surface fillet, if I use the radius option, and then choose both sets of surface, and say build, I get a very different result on these two halves. And it's doing exactly what a fixed radius fillet should do. The contact points get closer as the angle between the surfaces gets flatter. So it looks fine, but the patch layout might cause us some problems. So I can go back into the control window and we have another option which is Chordal. And if I update that, and I'll just switch this back to edge align, and I'll also switch to a caudal length to make it smaller, then that attempts to keep a fixed width rather than a fixed radius, which gives us a much nicer patch layout. And in this case, the highlight is a bit better too. So when working with a caudal fillet, there's two ways of specifying the size, and these are explained in the Theory Builder. So have a go at using Surface Fillet to build some of the larger blends on your model.